Welcome to the living room where we listen, learn, and live together. I'm your host, Richard Martin. Glad you're here. Make yourself right at home. I want to ask you all a question. When's the last time you laughed? Now, I'm not talking about the LOL that you text someone when you're really not laughing. I'm talking about laugh till you cry, laugh until you're short of breath, laugh until you have to race to the restroom before you have a problem altogether on your hands. It has been said that laughter protects the heart and is therefore considered to be the best medicine. If that is true, and I think there's some truth to it, then our special guest has been dishing out refreshing doses of hope and healing. She is a mix of sugar and spice and everything Christ, and she is taking the social media world by storm with her culture-packed videos of life and culture with a Jamaican touch. Here to help us listen and learn and laugh a little bit, I want you to welcome to the living room, Miss Julie Mango. What's going on, Julie?
Hi.
It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us today.
Thanks for having me. My gosh, what an introduction. You're really good at this.
Oh, thank you. And you are excellent at what it is that you do. Now, before we get into it, I have a sneaky suspicion that many people are already aware of who you are. Many of your videos have been going viral and your audience is growing. And I'm sure as you'll share with us, that comes with, some mixed feelings. But I want to begin here. Julie Mango, is that just a play on your name, or may there be some other meanings and allusions to that?
Okay, so the Julie Mango, when I was a child, I used to eat a lot of Julie Mangoes. That's really it. And then my dad, being the comedian and the troublemaker that he is, because he would always tease me. So there was a big Julie Mango in the front of the yard, and I used to sit under the tree or in the tree and just pick the mangoes and eat them, and that would just be me. So I got the moniker Julie Mango from childhood, and it kind of stuck with me throughout. And then it's also a play on my name, but I got it originally because I love Julie Mangoes. It's my favorite.
Awesome. I love it. And now the mango might have given you your name, but it seems like you're giving the mango its name now. Because here lately, people are loving your videos, sharing them. I'm sure you get a lot of notifications on TikTok, Instagram, and no shortage of comments. So let's just kind of start at the kind of pseudo beginning, if we can. When did you begin crafting and sharing skits on social media?
November 2020. The very first skit that I did, 2020 last year, November 2020.
Wow. And what was the occasion? Were you bored? What happened?
No. So I was feeling nostalgic, and I was missing my family, and I was missing Jamaica, just the culture itself. Sure. And because what made it even worse, that 2020 we're in the thick of quarantine, so you had to stay home. I couldn't even go to Walmart. That was, and Walmart is my place.
Exactly. Me too.
So I couldn't, it was just horrible. I couldn't go anywhere. And then, creativity is bred out of the worst of situations. And so I'm sitting at home. I'm finished work in the evenings, and okay, well, I need something to do. I can't go out. Netflix I've watched all of Netflix. And so let me go on TikTok. And then my stepmother sent me a video of praise and worship in Jamaica versus America. And I said, I'm going to do my own version of that and post it on TikTok and see what happens. It's no big deal. And then when I posted it on TikTok and on Instagram, it went viral. And I did not expect it to. I didn't expect it to. And then, it brought me great joy that people were appreciating that. So then I decided, okay, well, maybe I should do another one.
Yeah.
And so here I am.
So November 2020, you haven't even hit 1 year.
Not yet.
Now, were you on social media just casually before that?
Oh yeah, so I was on Instagram. I have had a few accounts that I just deleted sometimes. I was not really like a social media person, kind of. I've always had Facebook, and I have created and deleted so many Facebook accounts. So it wasn't, social media was just not a thing really, but I was on it, you know. It's not like
Sure.
I am anti-social media. And same thing with Instagram, but I wasn't like a steady content creator then on social media. I was creating content off social media, but I wasn't really doing that thing.
So November 2020 comes, the pandemic. We all know there's no shortage of obvious negatives to it, but one positive has been you post this video, it goes viral. At that point, did you sense like, okay, this is one and done? I'm glad people got a good laugh. Maybe I'll do another one. At what point do you say, you know what? Maybe I should just kind of keep generating content?
You know what it is? It's not, it's because it's who I am. I naturally, so before the Instagram and all of that stuff, my friends can tell you that I just make them laugh. I don't try.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I have to just give God thanks for it, because I will just be talking and people are cracking up. And so it's a part of me. So when the video was made, it was kind of like an outlet for my creativity. So it was never a point where I said, okay, that was just one, you know. Glad they had a laugh. It was always, wow, so okay, well, I guess I can use this outlet for my creativity and just, you know, at the same time kind of bring Christianity into it. And, you know, when people see me, then they will see, oh, she's a Christian, okay, cool, and maybe Christianity is not that bad, you know.
Right. Was it difficult for you to kind of draw those lines in the sand in terms of conviction? Now, some people might have sensed like, oh man, you've got a comedic edge, there's so many sources that you can draw upon, but you have established your platform and you continue to do so as, yeah, I know that I can go left, I can go right, I can go north, south, but I'm going to kind of keep things within a certain boundary. How did you come to that point to say, hey, what you guys are going to get from me is going to be clean, kid friendly, adult friendly. You're going to laugh, but I'm not going to go into some places. Was that a struggle, or you just knew from jump where you were going to stand?
I mean, I don't think it was a struggle, because what happened, you know, is that I am so enamored when a kid or a child comments on my video. It's the best feeling in the world. People will send me messages with a picture of their child who is supposed to be doing chores, but they're on their phone watching my video, right? So when I get that kind of feedback, it breathes life into me. So there wasn't really any point where I felt like, okay, I need to go, I need to include other stuff. And then also there are other people who are like, I mean, I feel like this is just my lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
Because we all out here doing stuff. Everybody, we're doing stuff. We're hustling. We're trying to make miracles every day. Everybody's doing it in their own way. You know what I mean? And I just feel like this is my way, and it breathes life into me when I see people like the stuff, and when I see kids comment on it. And, you know, there was like a little boy duetted my video. He was locked up in his room on his bed, duetted my domino video. And I'm saying to myself, I feel so good, because if his mother should bust into his room and say, what are you watching? He'd be like, I'm watching Auntie Julie Mango. It's fine. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. And I just applaud that and affirm that, you know, what gives you life, you give it back. And there's this relationship that you're developing with persons, not only in the States and not only in Jamaica, but I get the sense even outside of these two areas. Do you have a sense of how far your videos are reaching?
Listen, one person commented and said, enough love from Czech Republic.
No.
Yeah.
Serious.
And then a lady DM'd me and said, just sending you love from Brazil. My husband is Jamaican. So, I mean, every day, I just have to be grateful. I just have to give thanks to God, because this is just a work of God, and it's crazy. That's what I have to say.
So anytime I'm watching your videos, I'm reading through the comments, you know, it's just like second nature. You see the video and you want to see what other people are saying. A question that's almost in every video question is, where do you get this from? Like you don't just present like the same video in varying forms. Like it'll be one slice of culture, one family snapshot, something to do with the Bible. So like, where do these ideas come from, Julie?
I mean, okay, so the ideas come from my childhood, right?
Okay.
That's the first place. Next place, it comes from people will send me stuff that they want me to do. Like people will even say, "Hi, I know you're Christian, and I think that this would be nice." And I really, really appreciate it. Like persons
Yeah.
are not coming at me and say, "Hey, why you can't do this or why you can't do that." I mean, I don't know, it's mind blowing. So people will
True.
send me suggestions, and I'll try to do those. And then I will probably see like a post somewhere or like a meme, and then
Right.
the skit would come into my head, or I'll have a conversation with somebody and I'm like, I'm gonna skit that. Like
Yeah.
somebody, instead of saying, I was talking to one of my Jamaican friends, and instead of saying, "So how are you?" him say, "You're good differently though." So then so the idea came to me that, I'm gonna do a skit different ways how Jamaicans ask you how you doing.
Sure.
So
Sure.
that's how the ideas come.
So you're drawn from inspiration from everywhere. When you reflect on life growing up for you, your childhood, I've seen you kind of shout out your parents and other aunts
Yeah,
and
my
uncles.
mom, my dad, especially my dad. Oh boy, yeah.
Sure. And then also from feedback, viewer feedback, friends give you suggestions. Now, are you the kind of creator who has to sketch out everything, or do you just flow extemporaneously? Like I'll press record and just go at it and whatever
Yeah,
comes. And
so like for the short skits, so for the non-Bible skits, right? So we're talking
Mhm.
about just the non-Bible ones. I just press the plus button on TikTok and I have it.
Okay. Okay.
So when I will film one part, pause, and I was like, okay, what do I need to say? All right, I'm gonna say that. Film, pause. All right, costume change. All right, so do this costume first and that costume. Go rearrange at the end of the video. So on. So yeah. For the
I'm
Bible
glad.
stories, no.
Sure. Go
For
ahead.
the Bible stories, no, that's different. I can't really freestyle it, even though I inject my own ad lib into it. At the end of the day, I have to have the correct information out there. I mean, I can like today I posted Cain and Abel. I mean, what if I posted that it was Abel that killed Cain
Right.
instead
Right.
of
Yeah.
so I have to read the chapter, and of course we're talking about the Holy Spirit now, so I have to pray about it and ask God to guide me and stuff. I can't just get up and do a thing like that. Hello.
Sure.
So it takes a bit longer, and so that's the preparation process for the biblical skits. It takes a longer while. So I
Right.
don't necessarily have to script it out because the script is already there, but I have to
Right.
think on how I'm going to say those words in a Jamaican way, not saying too much that people get bored. Because
Mhm.
the Bible is very wordy. If you're not
Right.
Christian, you're not gonna really, you know what I mean?
I'm
So
with you.
yeah, it takes a bit of a figuring out when I'm doing the Bible skits.
Let me tell you what, when I saw Jesus speak Patois to Peter on the way to resurrect Lazarus, I lost it. I mean, it was so original, so refreshing because, I'll be honest, and I don't mean to offend anybody when I say this, but I think a lot of us know a lot of like live action Bible movies have actors and actresses speaking in like a British accent. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
geographically, that don't really make a lot of sense. But it was so overwhelmingly not just humorous, but it was like, I have received permission to hear Jesus speak Patois, and I like it. I like it a lot. So that's amazing. But even the backstory to let us know that even though I'm glad it hit, I'm glad it landed, I'm glad that it was educational, I don't just do it without a sense of, okay, God, how do you want this to come off? Because at the end of the day,
I don't play.
yeah,
I don't play with the Holy Spirit. I don't play with God's word. That's one thing right there. And that's why, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't done one in a while because it takes a lot. It takes a lot, like about maybe 3.5 hours of just reading it and then thinking about it, and then I have to retake if I don't, and then I have to trust me. It's but
now
I love
another
it. That's my first love.
phenomenal. Now, let me just take a pause and ask you about that. Just at what point in life does this all become personal? Let me kind of share a little bit more behind that question. I kind of humorously call myself a son of the church, and that I was like almost born in the aisles of the church. I didn't have a choice but to sing in the children's choir, all that kind of stuff. I had a great upbringing. So as a Christian, at times, what you grow up in, it doesn't always become personal. It can just be like environmental. This is what my family did. When does it become personal for Julie? Like, this is something I don't play with. I am a Christian.
Listen, I have been through so much in my life, and I guess when we reach into the mental health aspect of it, I can delve in that some more. But trust me, I've been through so much, and I've even delved into other religions for a while. For a good wholesome decade, I was away from Christ. And there's a Bible verse that says once you have tasted Christ, it's like you can't leave. You have to come back, or he will find out. Once you take that dip and say Christ is your savior, he's not going to let you go just like that. And then it ended up that I came back to Christ. But the thing with the whole Bible stories now, what happened with the Bible stories, right, is that when I am reading the Bible, I read it in Patois.
Wow.
So when I'm reading it, I put myself, what would have happened if I was there? How would this have gone down if I was there? How would people sound? How would people react? I mean, yeah, I see the movies and, it's some guy saying, oh, yes. But would I sound like that though? Would I sound like that? I wouldn't sound like that. I'd be like, Jesus, look here. Listen, so, so,
yeah, that's real. That's real.
And that's how my friends, fellow Jamaicans, we're not very soft. We're very expressive. And if somebody come around us and say they are the Messiah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's real.
That's how I read the Bible. And then I thought that, it would be beneficial to others if I was to put it out there. Because I know a lot of people read the Bible and they don't really understand it. And I'm saying, guys, put yourself in the scenery. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of a passage in scripture in Acts chapter 2. It's the day of Pentecost, and Holy Spirit falls upon the disciples and they begin to preach. And what is so miraculous is everyone hears the gospel in their own language. And I think that in principle, here it is, right? All these languages, vernacular expressions, dialect, and I think that we do indeed serve a God who knows how to understand and communicate in a language that we can process. So not only, again, I can't stress enough, is it something that's winsome and uplifting and inspiring? It's not just cute, like that would undervalue it. It is like, no, this actually in and of itself is a message that God can speak to you in a way that you're like, if I was on the scene, this is how I would say it. And he understands that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you this. Now, everyone knows when you begin to generate content, it's very possible to just get burnt out. Demand increases, people's expectations are there. And then the way these algorithms work, you kind of have to keep at it. So are you more or less the person who has a schedule, or is it just, like you said, I do it naturally, I press the plus symbol on TikTok, but in terms of keeping it going, is it something that you have to schedule?
I don't do a schedule, because a schedule will just make it will make me feel stressed. And I have to really watch that, and I have to remember that I am having fun. So when I'm having fun, that's when the energy will come and I will be able to do the video. I mean, that's basically it. So if I do a schedule and say, okay, I have to do this one, this topic, I'm just gonna spaz out. I'm gonna fall asleep, because when I'm stressed out, I take naps, because I'm like, okay, I'm not dealing with this today. I'm gonna sleep. So it's just I don't keep a schedule.
Yeah, I think that connects with a lot of content creators, and it probably liberates some who feel as though, because you can watch YouTube videos and it's just like, if you want to get this many followers, if you want to do this, then you got to have but everyone's personality does not organize like that.
Oh, I can't. My personality is very haphazard, so
sure. I love it. So one of my favorite skits so far is the Christmas greetings from around the world. Julie, I can't tell you the amount of times I just let that thing play on repeat from the first word. Hi, my name is Blossom. Oh my goodness. I was like, what? The costumes, the personality. I mean, now having said that, let me admit this. I am familiar with Jamaican culture and Caribbean culture as a result of, I was born and raised in Florida. So my best friend His father is Jamaican, his mother's Guyanese, and church, all of it. So even seeing something like that, I'm able to catch some of the idioms and find humor in it.
Nice.
But it's almost like a parable, right? Like the parable, you kind of have to have a key to really understand all the nuance. Was that just your own creation, or does this come from something that others who grew up in Jamaica might say?
Oh no,
she did.
So this came from, every year when I was a kid and other people my age group were kids, there would be something called Greetings from Across the World, and it would air on television, and it would be sponsored by Jamaican National Bank, and you would hear Jamaicans in the diaspora, right? And so it would be Jamaicans in England and most of the UK. No, sure. So it's lovely that they're sending greetings, but what's always funny is that the way they speak and the way they look is just kind of, no disrespect or anything. We love them. It's Jamaicans and we love Jamaicans, but the way they speak is comical, and just how they dress and how they pronounce their words. And so as a child, as kids, we used to just laugh at it and enjoy. We used to always look forward to greetings from across the world at Christmas time. Yeah. And so that's why it connected with a lot of people, because that's what used to happen. So those were actually, I looked at clips from Greetings Across the World and then tried to reenact them as best as possible and put my own spin on it. So
I'm sure you're getting this all the time, but it's not easy to represent characters and present them in a way that people can say, Julie, you have it on the spot. I've seen verified celebrities, musicians commenting on your videos saying, I don't know where you get this from, but you're doing a great job. Let me ask you, do you have a favorite one of your skits, or are you even able to enjoy them? I know sometimes being the creator, you can't be the consumer. That can be a conflict. How does it work for you?
If I'm going to be honest, I do enjoy creating the skits. Well, what I enjoy more are the comments. Okay, sure. People will get deep into the skit. So even the same Christmas skit, right? Where I had the fiance Devon. And then somebody commented and said, yeah, long time you don't see Devon, they don't know who Devon is, but it's like they're so into the skit and they're commenting, and the comments are what I find extremely funny, because people are watching it and they get into it and they comment, and
From a communication standpoint, it's almost like sending is only a part of it, but you never know how it's received. Like Devin, by example, can represent so much for a person. Like you just presented this character. The lady, Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Like you represented a few characters, but people watching it, it might have reminded them of their aunt, of a friend that they haven't seen in a long time, of a relationship that was successful, or maybe so. And so I appreciate how the comments, it almost becomes its own space of community building and memory making.
Because with my Father's Day post yesterday, I had probably 3 comments of persons saying they miss their dad. So it would have been that their dad passed. And I respond to those comments and I'm sorry for your loss and I hope you're doing okay and stuff like that. Because how I feel about those videos sometimes is that it's a community, right? So the comments is a community of people. Even sometimes, like when I title Jamaicans do this, Jamaicans do that, I have people from the Caribbean say, it's not only Jamaicans that do that. Right. And then I would respond, I'm like, you're so right, sis. Yes. And I mean it. I mean it. I want to include everyone, The only reason why I may not say Caribbean in my videos is because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to misrepresent Trinidad or misrepresent St. Lucia or Bahamas and such, because I respect each island's culture. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a community. I like when they comment and say, no, you missed out this one or you missed out that one, because they are into the video. Yeah.
I love it. So big picture, where do you see this going? Is it something does it have career potential? Are you looking to collaborate? Do you have any dreams, or it's just like, man, Rich, I'm good with TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's a pastime. People laugh, but I'm good. Or do you say, hey, listen, I'm open to some things?
I mean, I feel like in my heart, I'm open to it going further. I would
Okay.
love, you know, what I would absolutely love, like if God just did it for me right now, I would be like, oh my gosh. Is is if somehow I got some sponsorship where I can do a Bible story series on Netflix, Jamaican
Mhm.
style. And it
Okay.
would not just be Jamaicans that would be in it because our motto is out of many one people. So I'd have Asians, Indians. I would work it somehow that it just includes everybody who is not accustomed to hearing their accent. You're not accustomed to hearing a Hindu accent as a
Mm.
biblical story. You know what I mean?
Mm. Woo.
So it would be kind of like a fusion,
Wow.
but it would be, you know, Jamaican and sticking to our motto out of many one people. I would love that. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is acting is something that I enjoy. I could do it all day long
Yeah.
without taking a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's better for me to be, I don't really get burnt out per se like that because it's
Cool.
something that I love. And I try not to concern myself too much with the whole media aspect of it because that can, you know, I mean, look at Robin Williams. I love him so much and dude just went. But yeah,
Too soon. Way too soon.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't really get burnt out about it. So I'm seeing where it can take me. If I can get further into acting or into a movie, that would be top notch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, whoever the organizers, directors, producers are for Netflix, I'm telling you, don't overlook your blessing. Julie Mango, she's out here making it happen already. So
Tyler
you can mess
Perry,
around and
hear me.
yeah. Come on, Mr. Perry. Come on now. Don't miss your blessing, okay? So it's clear that you, as much fun as you have, and I'm sure this comes very naturally, you know, you already mentioned that you've drawn a lot of inspiration from various sources down to the costumes. I think one video people were laughing. You had the socks all the way down, like from head to toe. The costume just really brought the person to life. Now, I want to ask you, kind of as we take a turn, man, is this kind of self-care for you in any way? You mentioned that you are a mental health advocate. Have you found it to be, like you said, it happened in the time of pandemic. I think all of us were about to lose our minds. And I say that in a very respectful way because it was just hard. We were distant from people, isolated. The world had changed. Has this been a source of self-care for you?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a source of self-care and a source of, you know, just having my creative outlet. But
Yes.
I don't want people to confuse self-care with delving into deeper issues. You see, it's impossible to exercise self-care when you have issues that you haven't dealt with before. I
Whoa,
don't know if
come
you
on.
also yeah, so that's the whole mental health part of it. So, and that's why a person who is suffering from mental health has no interest in doing the things that they love to do because there's a
Mm,
disconnect. They're not able to connect to that side of them. So it is a form of self-care, but it could have only come into play after I dealt with my mental health issues that I had because I always had this drama aspect of me, but I was never doing it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Mm-hmm.
yeah. Now, in addition to this, and I thank you for that point of clarification, which is necessary. Here in the living room, as much as we seek to have conversations with a variety of persons to hear their stories, it really has as its main goal to solicit help to live a more holistic life, to become the best versions of ourselves. So a part of what I seek to practice as host is my own transparency. I've shared with guests before and my viewers. I get therapy as a result, not just reacting to life issues, but preventative measures to say we
Yeah.
encounter
Mm-hmm.
so much on a regular basis that is often too much for any one person to handle, whether it's the loss of a loved one, it can be the loss of a job, it can just be other forms of crisis, or maybe even, and you know, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and sometimes that fearful and wonderfulness is challenged by stuff, and we need to go get some help, right? So what other forms of mental well-being advocacy do you promote? Or, you know, you mentioned earlier that you've been on a journey. And so, you know, we in no way, form, or fashion expect you to tell it all. But you know how the old church people will say, I'm not telling you what I heard about, I'm telling you what I know. This is something that is important to you. Why is that?
All right, so let me start from not the beginning, but maybe like the big part.
Sure.
So I was undiagnosed. I had a mental illness from I was the age of 8.
Sure.
Borderline personality disorder. I cut myself for the first time when I was 8 years old with a bottle stopper. I cut myself on my thumb right here. And it was undiagnosed. My parents didn't know what was going on. And they were, you know, Jamaican parents, you're ungrateful, you have everything, and you want to hurt yourself. And, you know, they didn't know what to do. And then, so I grew up through high school where I practiced self-cutting almost every day. I would have a knife and I would cut my arm. And it's a cycle. It became a cycle, right? And that's just what I would do when I had issues. And then no, it culminated into when in 2011, which is fairly, well, I wouldn't say recent, probably it's 10 years ago. I attempted suicide by writing off my car.
Yeah.
And then I came out of the car scratch-free. The car flipped onto the top and skated across the road. And when it stopped, I was in the car and I was like, engine still running. All right, well, let me get out before it explodes. It's like, okay, I wanted to die, but no, I don't want to die. It was kind of like weird. So I got out because, you know, in the movies, the car explodes once it's in an accident. And so I got out, and then people who saw what happened, they called the ambulance and called the wrecker people. Everybody was calling persons to help and stuff like that. So that was that incident. So that wasn't even my lowest point. My lowest point came when it's like I felt like a failure because I tried to kill myself, and even that I failed at. So what am I good at then if I can't even take my own life? And then I had the cutting, I had unstable relationships. Everything was just going bad, even though I managed to keep my career on track. So what I would be is a high functioning borderline personality person. So why this is passionate to me now, fast forward to now, why this is passionate to me now is because by God's grace, I am a success story, because I came from that, and then I got therapy, and then the therapy taught me how to think differently. No, people don't like the idea of medication for mental health. You can do it in your own way. I needed medication for a period of time because my issue was physiological. So when my therapist was telling me the right things to think, I could not process that because I had a chemical imbalance in my brain. So the medication had to straighten that chemical imbalance out so that I can process what the therapist is saying to me. After a time of processing what the therapist is saying to me, then I unlearned the difficult things I learned in my childhood. I unlearned the things I learned as a teenager. I unlearned everything that was bad coming up. And I'm still unlearning some stuff. It's a journey. It's not done, right? And so in the process of unlearning, that's where the healing comes. It's kind of gradual until one day you realize, I think I'm on the other side of this thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's it's precious to me, or it's important to me, because a lot of people don't think that there is hope. They think that once you're mad, you're mad. They think once you commit suicide, you're mad, you're cuckoo, and nothing can do for you. And lad, this is my man talking because full of drama. And women get labeled as drama or crazy when it is that they're having a mental illness. Some men have mental illnesses too, and they just don't know. So I am encouraging people to talk about it if you're having an issue. We have a lot of people who, I mean, I won't mention who are the people who recently committed suicide because their families are still mourning. But you have a lot of people who just kill themselves. And if it is that they felt comfortable enough to talk about it, their lives could have been saved. So I talk about it. I put my story out there and look like an idiot so that the person suffering in silence can say, oh, well, I mean, okay, well, maybe it's not that bad then. Maybe I need to get help.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Listen, I don't know what other people might think, but here in the living room, you do not look idiotic at all. Thank you for trusting us, privileging us even with those portions of your story. And I say that in all sincerity because, first of all, it's not easy to do. Second of all, we can't often tell, and you said it at the end there, just how many people receive permission to unlock certain chambers of their hearts when they hear someone else that they might esteem or, benefit from, and they say, wait a minute, you mean to tell me there's more to you, more to your story than what I see on social media? And they say, that's my story. Like, there's more to me. I'm a chef, but there's more to me than the chef. I'm a salesman, but there's more to me than being a salesman. I'm a lawyer. I'm the top lawyer in my firm, but there's more to me. And you've given me permission to admit that. Maybe people aren't yet there to do it publicly, and that's okay. As you said, it's a journey. And some instances, some people are in situations where it just might not be safe yet to do it publicly, but at least it allows them to say, even in a safe, professional, maybe, and if you have those family or friends that are trusted individual, you can say, listen, here's what I'm going through. I want to say this. I am so thankful that you are here. And not only because you are, as I said, taking the social media world by storm. That's a whole lot of cherries on top. But in all honesty, I don't know your parents. I don't know your family or friends, but I can say I'm glad you're here because it really is such a living testimony. And to, as you mentioned, still be in the process of unlearning and growth. I'm there. I know that people listening and watching will admit, I think this is life, right? We catch a lot, we're taught a lot, we survive with a lot, we normalize things, and then we say, that's not really normal. We got to unlearn. And so I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
So now let's kind of blend some things in, right? You've mentioned the beauty of Jamaican culture, the complexity of Jamaican culture. And I think this represents any culture, but we're going to talk about Jamaican culture. That you receive some things and you live life, from how you sing the national anthem coming up through school, all the way to how you prepare food. And let's talk about that. Explain to the uninformed, the uninitiated, the person who's, the furthest thing opposite of Jamaican culture. Explain to us the symbolic role. What does food mean in Jamaica?
Food brings us together. That's the bottom line. A little bit. So I know a little bit about the history of food because, we have a lot of spices and herbs and we roast a lot of stuff. And if you think back, like way back before even slavery started, when we had the Arawaks and the Indians and the Tainos, how they cooked, they roasted a lot of stuff. So they would roast like cassava, because cassava was naturally occurring at the time. Remember, they wouldn't have like flour to boil dumpling or nothing like that. So they would roast cassava, they would roast meat, everything would just be stuck on a stick and just roasted, and that's it. That's the meal. So that's why we have so many things. We do roast fish, we do roast pork, we do roast yam, we do roast dumpling, everything we like to roast. So that is a part of our culture. Other people do barbecues and stuff, we roast things. Right? And then with the spices, with the whole heap of spices that we use, the pepper, hot pepper, Scotch bonnet pepper, that spicy thing, it was kind of, I remember reading an article where, because when Christopher Columbus came and the Spaniards took over, they brought their, Mexicans and Spaniards, they eat with a lot of spice. So they brought their spice into our culture, and then we ended up adopting that. And then so that's way back. I took it way back. So coming forward now, food has always been a source of togetherness. If you and a person has an issue, or if you have problems with a person and they invite you over and say, come we roast some fish together, or come we, cook some food together, it's almost considered as burying the hatchet then.
Yeah.
And if you can cook, like if you're a mother and you cook and you share and give the kids in the community, it is just seen that you are a caring person, you're a motherly person. So food for us is basically like, it's there's a tie between the food and the music, because music ties us together. But you see, the food food ties us together out of many one people. So even though how we cook came from many different cultures and it's like we are a melting pot of cultures that makes our culture. The food brings us together. It never fails.
Yeah, I love it. Some of my fondest memories growing up were around meals, especially meals with family members and friends, from Jamaica. I mean, even as we're talking, you explain to us just the sociological, the historical import of music and food, and we'll talk about language in a few moments here. I mean, I was actually like kind of smelling spices. Anytime I would go to my best friend's house, his mother knew I did not want to leave without having some curry chicken and rice, you know.
Have you ever had ackee and saltfish?
Oh, what? Come on.
So let me tell you this. Saltfish is not indigenous to the shores of Jamaica. Saltfish is from Norway.
Really?
You know, yet still that's our national dish. So as I say, our motto out of many cultures, we are one. And that's what the food is, I tell you.
You know, what I also love about Jamaican culture is the very infectious, I mean, it's just contagious, the sense of national, cultural, communal pride. If you're not in tune, if you don't have friends or family, you can mistake it for a sense of overconfidence. I've heard that people bring that criticism. I know that to be different, right? And sometimes it can be expressed in ways like I went to college and it was representative of a lot of places. So they do roll call. Like if you're from, you know, Trinidad and Tobago, make some noise. Yeah. If you're from the United States, yeah. If you're from Britain, yeah. If you're from Jamaica, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, hey, we represent, right? So I think that the American culture was probably reminded of that in a way in the early 90s. There was a hit Disney movie that came on the scene, and it's called Cool Runnings.
Oh,
and
boy.
It really said, listen, you can take a Jamaican team of track stars and make them bobsledders, and that pride still gonna be there. Where does that come from? Speak to us about that sense of pride.
It's just how we grew up. Listen, let me tell you something, right? Our parents are our first bullies.
Mercy.
Our parents are the first people to look at you and say, oof, why your foot shaped like that? What's the way your head big? Yeah, big man, but you grow into your ear, but how your belly shaped, so your belly don't match up with your bottom. Then you don't say you have no shape though. Then all you call yourself woman and you don't have no bottom. You sure that that's good for your body though. Your foot big, man, what size you wear? 11? Are you a woman? No, something wrong with that. Oh, you're so short for your man. Oh, you're so skinny for your man. Oh, you're so fat for your man. Oh, you're so... Parents will bully their kids. I'm telling you. Other people say it's a form of child abuse and whatnot. And, you know, you have residual trauma from that. But even me personally with a mental health issue, none of my trauma was caused from the teasing and the bullying that my parents gave me. None. Wow. I can pinpoint exactly where everything went wrong in my childhood. Right? And it had nothing to do with that. So back to the question. Our parents bully us first. No, when our parents bully us, we develop this sense of confidence to resist and to lash back. Not lash back at your parents because you want to live.
You want to live, to tell the story.
but to resist and to ignore the negativity and to know that, listen, no, I am the ish, right? Yeah. I am worthwhile, because what happened, you know, is that your parents bully you, but at the same time, you're going to church, they're teaching you how to worship the Lord, they're teaching you how to fix yourself properly, they're teaching you how to love yourself, how to value yourself. As a woman, they say, don't go around and sleep with a guy. As a guy, they will say you need to learn how to change tire, you need to learn you must read your book, you must go study your book. So they instill the right things in you so that it builds up your character to be a good person. Now, because we build that character in not such a soft environment, you know, we kind of load with it. It's how we were built. We were built in a very colorful and vibrant environment, not a soft environment. So we just come out with it like that. Yeah. So when we are supposed to show our confidence, we can't really say, oh yes, I'm confident. We have to say, yeah man, I have that laugh. No, for real, no, trust me, me, no, God no, God believe you. You know, so it's just how we grew up. It's
I love it.
in a Jamaican home, you don't have time for softness and pettiness. It grows you to be tough. Some people don't like it. Other persons maybe, said it's traumatic, but majority of persons who grew up in my era don't really have a problem with it. And that's why. It's just a cultural thing.
Sure. Well, I love it. From like I said over and over again, from my own personal upbringing to the superstars who have again spread the culture further. Your Usain Bolts, I mean, we can go on and on, right? So we can't let you go, Julie Mango, without helping us learn something that we can take with us in terms of patois. So what I want your help with is, first, just give us, if you can briefly, what is Jamaican patois? What languages, expressions, dialect, like what makes it what it is? And then, help us with some greetings, common phrases, things that if a person listens to this conversation and they say, okay, bet, I'm gonna travel to Jamaica, not just to speak patois, but I have a vacation coming up and now I can kind of like surprise, my family or friends, or I can surprise the person. What is patois, and help us learn some things?
All right, so first of all, patois is spelled Patois.
Okay.
So right away, that's a French word. So patois is a mixture of French Creole. It also has some of its origins in Latin. And of course, it has some of its origins in African dialect. Because, the slaves came across from the Middle Passage, and then you had the Arawaks and the Indians who had their own language. And then we had a fusion of Latin, and so it's a mixture of everything, right? And then, of course, so once we have that mixture in our culture and in our presence, then we start to communicate with each other. Now, some of the words take on a different sound after a time. It evolves. So some of the words you pronounce it one way this year, and by the next 3 years, it has evolved into something else until it now solidifies into what we know as patois or Jamaican dialect or Creole.
Sure.
So that's patois. It's unique to Jamaica. No other island or no other location, no local speaks patois. Patois is the only Jamaican speak patois, unless other persons try to learn it and stuff. Right. And it's not something that can be tamed, because all right. So with other languages, you can have rules and regulations. So for example, the English language, you would have to say the persons are. You can't say the persons is. But in patois, it can go any direction. This somebody them hard, this somebody them his.
You understand.
Right? So it's not something that you can't tame patois. So there, it's gonna be a little bit challenging to say we're going to formalize it because it's untamable. Right.
So if I am meeting you for the very first time, and as an African-American born and raised on these shores, I would say, Miss Julie Mango, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Scratch that. I want to say it in patois now. How do I greet you?
Julie Mango, Gwan girl, you look good. You look nice, see? I'm glad we get to talk to you. Oh, you still? You good?
I love it. Julie Mango, Gwan girl, you look good.
Oh, you still?
Like that? I got to work on it. I got to work. How you say it again? How you see it?
Still.
How you see it?
Oh, you stay, as in stay. How are you? Oh, you stay.
Okay. How you stay?
Or you can take it back into the old time thing and say, how do you do?
How do you do? Okay. I got something for you. I was my wife and I were in Mandeville in 2019. I was speaking at a school there, Northern Caribbean University. And I was speaking on the story of Joseph and Mrs. Potiphar's wife. And I wanted to find a way to bring to life what she might have said about Joseph if she were speaking patois. And so I asked one of the students there, I said, listen, same thing. I want to say something. What would a woman say about a man that she wanted to get with? And they thought about it. And this is what they told me. And you can tell me whether or not this is right or what else I can say next time. They say, what a man look nice. Me, I forget him.
Yes.
That's all right. That's all right. I said, okay, thank you so much. I'll try it.
You did pretty well.
Cool,
Yes,
cool,
that
cool.
is 100% accurate. Yes.
Hey,
Mhm.
listen, Julie Mango, this has been beyond refreshing, helpful. Not only have we had an insider's look at what is becoming your brand on social media, but you have afforded us the opportunity to kind of get just a taste of the story behind the face of the history to what it is I'm able to do now. And I just think that more and more people are going to have even a greater appreciation for you and what you're doing. Keep going, keep having fun with it. I'm looking forward to more videos. When I see you on Netflix, I'm gonna be like, Julie Mango, Wagwan sisterin. I know you. You made
Oh
it.
my
Out here.
God.
Before we let you go, please share with us where can we connect with you? I think we've already mentioned social media. Are there products, events, anything coming up that we need to keep in mind? What's on the horizon?
So you can connect with me on TikTok, Twitter, and IG. So on TikTok, I'm at Julie underscore mango underscore. Yeah, there's somebody else that had it before. So it's at Julie underscore mango underscore. And on IG, it's at Julie underscore mango underscore underscore. And
Okay.
on Twitter, it's at Julie Mango underscore. I mean, just search for Julie Mango on all 3 platforms and you'll see. In terms of any events coming up, not yet. There is a short film that I'm supposed to shoot, but I don't have much information on it yet. So when I do get the flyer and all of that is in progress, then I will post it on my IG and invite persons to look at it or to watch, take the time out to look at it. So yeah.
Sure.
I also have my YouTube channel, which is Julie Mango. For now, it's just the TikTok skits that are on it, but I'm going to do some short sitcom type skits with just me acting like all the characters, very Eddie Murphy of me, but that's okay. So, and I would just basically be doing that, maybe like 4-minute videos, 5-minute videos. And yeah.
So we want to leave the last words with you. If you had to speak to somebody right now who is going through it, they've been encouraged, they've been inspired, and maybe they have some experiences of their own that they're saying, you know what, if she is able to take steps in a healing direction, then I want to do the same. What would you say to them? What are some next steps they can take to know that life for them doesn't have to end where it is, but there can be hope for the future?
They have to just know that it's a journey and there is no end point. You're going to be improving as long as you're alive. So don't think that there's going to be a moment where you're going to be, oh man, it's like a virus. A virus doesn't leave the body. It just remains dormant. So essentially what everyone needs to do with a mental illness is to be able to control it. Once you have it under control, then it will not be a bother to you at all. So in terms of the next step that they need to do is to get with a therapist. The therapist will let them know if they need to see a psychiatrist to take medication or if they don't need a psychiatrist. A therapist is a certified, a board certified, licensed psychologist or psychotherapist. Don't go to a life coach. I'm a life coach and I cannot do therapy, right? Go to a certified therapist and they will tell you what are your next steps. They will plan out a way forward for you. And remember, depending on your age, it will be at least 15 years that you've been doing things the wrong way. So be patient with yourself, go easy on yourself, appreciate yourself, love yourself, and know that you're not going to get it right away, because healing is not like when an airplane is taking off. It's like a baby learning to walk. They walk, they drop, they walk, they drop, they walk, they drop. So just know that the journey is going to be undulating, but you're going to be undulating upslope, and eventually you'll be on the other side once you stick to the program, and there is hope. Wow. That's what I'd say.
Woo. Thank you so much. Listen, friends, I hope that you have laughed, smiled, maybe a tear has fallen throughout the course of our conversation, and all of those expressions of how you've received this conversation are okay. We want you to know that sometimes life does have its valley moments and mountaintop moments and everywhere in between. Hey, we are human, and the hope is this: as long as you have life, you have hope. And we're thankful that Julie Mango has helped us to laugh a little bit along the way. That's all we have for this episode of The Living Room. Our special guest has been Miss Julie Mango. My name is Pastor Richard Martin, and it's been my pleasure to host you. Until next time, continue to listen, continue to learn, continue to laugh, and continue to live.
All right. Bye-bye.